Hey, what's up, Cedric?
Hey, how are you, sir? What's up, Nicholas? How are you, man? I lost your volume now. Oh,
Hold
you just
on.
muted.
There. Is that better?
Yeah. We're
Okay,
back.
great. Holding it down in St. Louis, man. Thank you for talking with us.
STL, man. Yeah.
STL, you know it. We're talking about sort of charitable things in St. Louis, of course. Your time in St. Louis, how would you describe the sense of community and charity, and how do people help each other out when things are down?
I mean, St. Louis has always been that kind of town. I mean, that I can recall is that we kind of jump to it when people are down. I mean, I grew up, when you go back even as being a kid, when someone would have to have rent parties to help, a family stay in their home, people would do that. Growing up in St. Louis, my first kind of course, you know, foray into it was the Matthew Dickey's Boys and Girls Club, uh, watching people contribute to getting kids, baseball uniforms and being able to go on field trips and those kind of things. And I thought that was really great. So I got involved with it as well. Um, it's the kind of city that I do believe that uh, people recognize their neighbors and they recognize when people are down and out and they try to just jump in and get involved. And so it's a big city for in the scope of things, but it feels like a small town.
Now, what about the Salvation Army? Do you have any fond memories of it, maybe in St. Louis or beyond? What's so great about what the Salvation Army does if you're familiar with it?
Well, of course, the Salvation Army is one that we kind of game, and I would say, like for me, it was the fact that it was where you gave clothes to.
Mhm.
It was where you helped, especially on coat drives. It was the kind of thing that you went to, and then there was the one that where it was a thrift store energy.
Mhm.
When I got in high school, I wanted to be a little more of a fancy dresser. So in my early high school, so the Salvation Army was a place where we would go, and you would go and you buy you some mohair sweaters and a cool tweed top coat, so you could have a very European kind of energy about yourself. But that also that your money was contributing to taking care of other people's foods, needs, families, and that that it did that kind of thing. So this organization, Salvation Army, is one that is a staple of American life when you think about it. Of course, from the holiday season when the Santa Clauses are out and the bells and you kind of these are things that let it's Christmas season and the holiday season and the season of love and giving. And so I think that that's a very important subconscious kind of thing for American culture, right? For us to know that something as simple as that gesture, you know, seeing the red bell cup and the Santa Clauses, these kind of things, know that it encourages you to be a better person at that very moment. And of course, if ever you had the opportunity to give and be a part of it in any kind of way, then you're it's a celebratory thing. You feel good about yourself, and I think that is what's so special about the organization for sure.
One of the great things that your mom said was "Go forth and do good things." That
Yeah,
quote, how much of a importance has it had in your life? And maybe when things get down, do you remind yourself of that? Talk about the importance of that quote.
yeah. That was the kind of quote that my mother would say to my sister and I every day, every morning, is to go forth and do great things. And I think that it subconsciously, again, I think is a part of my whole kind of get up. I wake up to be a positive individual. You try to look on, if it's one just making another person happy, if it's motivating a kid who's down and out or anything like that. But also I think it's the fact that I have taken on a charitable attitude in my life and my career, and have always done that willingly and with love and with respect for for someone who's down and out or in a lesser situation at the time, to look at that and honor and know that they have that same ability. That you can do. It was a line in the movie Barbershop I did, that something as simple as a haircut can make a man feel like $1 million. And I believe that that's the thing. When you give somebody dignity by showing them dignity, all of a sudden people are feeling empowered. And that's that great thing that you can do for somebody, that gives good energy, and it'll come right back at you. So I encourage people to be like that. That's really one of my mantras right there, for sure.
You work with one of the hospitals here in town, the Cancer Foundation, with your sister. How rewarding of an experience has that been for you? And has it made you learn more about cancer research?
Yeah, it is. Again, it's one of those things. Of course, I lost my mom in 2016, and we went through that experience, and and I, got involved. Of course, being a person with some means, we did a lot of great things. While my mom was there, and the people who would happen to be around kind of benefited from me, bringing food up there and doing little things, and adding a singer and making somebody come play the piano and all these kind of things to just take you out of that I'm in a hospital, I'm in a sick, kind of mode. And so, the hospital was so supportive, so behind, those efforts, of course, so sincere with trying to uh, cure my mom and make her comfortable, and so I just felt like it was something that I wanted to be able to do and continue to give back. And so we started that initiative with the Rosetta Bush Kyles Women's Pavilion and Educational Facility. And we've SSM has been a great partner, and we've just been trudging along, man. Just been able to continue to support the city, and of course see that happen to other people's families, have an opportunity, to get a van ride, or be able to come and just sit and and some food get delivered, and all these kind of things are very important, again, when you're dealing with a sick loved one. So.
One of the Salvation Army's initiatives in that same line is the Pathway to Health, where we connect people from disadvantaged communities with healthcare access. Why is that so important these days from your experiences, especially when a lot of people don't have health insurance?
I mean, again, that is a running theme. I had several jokes that I used to always talk about, especially underprivileged families, that you would deny bad health, deny it until it was something that is not necessarily repairable. So the thing about having access to great health care is that we recognize nowadays that medicine has advanced, treatments have advanced, and that people don't have to die. And so if we can encourage you just to get checked out, if we can provide you with a ride there, we can provide you with some services, a wheelchair if you need one, a walker if you need one, anything that could say, hey, you don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to suffer all alone. You don't have to suffer because you think it costs too much. Whatever you've already decided, or people are out here working hard on your behalf to make sure that you can simply go and get checked out and try to live a more healthier life. So I believe that that's what's really great about your program, that pathway, is because people just don't know, and we just got to continue to spread that message, because I think it's like getting that message to people and letting them really believe, like, it's okay, we got you, so.
Your Cedric the Entertainer Foundation, what a great thing. What's your favorite part about being involved with that? Is there a particularly fun thing? And how satisfying is it for you to have your own foundation out there?
It's been great. We started this in 1994, my sister, my mother, myself, and just over the years. I mean, of course, I give out scholarships every year, and it has been probably the most rewarding is to have some person who's graduated, went to school, and come up and tell you that they went to school off one of your scholarships, and they are now doing this job and doing that job. And I've definitely have been, heart opened over many years by a few of those stories. And then along now with the health pavilion in the last few years, again, people who come up and let you know they were very touched and very pleased by the experience they were able to have with some of the services that we provide there at the hospital through our foundational work for the Women's Pavilion. And so, those kind of rewards of people really recognizing you and thanking you, and that it touched them and that they benefited from your efforts. You just don't get better than that. I don't need any more accolades than to have somebody say they actually took advantage of the situation. I always tell those kids that I give scholarships to, mine is a loan, because if you don't go out and make something good of yourself, you're gonna owe me my money back.
What about, are there any pet causes, charitable causes that your kids are into? What do they like to do for charity?
I believe it is buying games from GameStop. I don't know if that's no. My daughter is very into. She's into facial care, and so she has a couple of programs where she wants to be able to do things for young ladies. She's really interested in the self-esteem of young ladies. She has a little group of girls that they like to go around and they'll search and find the girl who's shy or has been bullied or or feels she's not pretty enough. It's like four of them. They like to go and show up and do makeovers and hang out with her and laugh and try to encourage these kids to believe in themselves. And so I really like that in her spirit and her attitude. And so it's just something that she did throughout high school. And so I thought that's really sweet. And she plans to, kind of identify more with that as she goes into college. She's a senior in high school this year. And my son is just a general, sweet guy. He's just into, tutoring kids and being a part of the, young folks, teaching them swimming and karate. He's a karate guy. So he's all over the place during the week, teaching kids and just being involved with the youth. So I really like their spirits, and they've grown into some great young people.
The Neighborhood, we all love the show, one of the biggest shows on TV right now. How much of The Neighborhood do you see in St. Louis?
If I could have placed the show in St. Louis, I would have. But for the purposes of the story we were trying to tell, they were like, "Oh, we got to be in LA, somewhere in LA." I was like, "All right," but I always want to represent that, and I do feel like St. Louis is a city I grew up in where unfortunately for many years it was very kind of racially divided, but as in the recent years, you just start to see a lot more of this kind of community coming together. And so when you think about the world of gentrification and people living next to each other, that next door to each other and going to school with each other and learning to identify with cultures and lifestyles and the things that that you may felt opposed to. But once you get to know an individual, once you get to identify the human that's behind this kind of archetype or prototype you've put on someone, you recognize like, oh man, I actually can dig this person. I can get along with them, and that's what the purpose of the show is. So one of the main goals of this show is to show that we're all humans and just give each other an opportunity to meet. Don't just cast me in a group because this guy's that and this lady is that, and that therefore we don't get along. That's not true. So you come to find out that we actually at times have many things in common. So that's hopefully the love and respect that we wanted to show, and I definitely feel that it's applicable to my hometown there of St. Louis for sure.
We got one last one. Salvation Army has the Ferguson Community Empowerment Center here in town. Ferguson, Missouri, how close, how dear is it to your heart? And how has Ferguson evolved as a community over the last 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I grew up right there in Berkeley, which is a municipality right next door. So Ferguson was a place that, I, of course, often went through probably on a daily basis. And so, of course, it was very hard to see the the peril and all the stuff that happened during the Mike Brown era. But it is one that I felt like they worked the hardest to become a shining example of what reform can look like, and how you can uplift the community by caring about the community and having the community then care about itself. And so I think that that's really the positive things that that can come out of something as tragic as that event. So we want to just continue to kind of push that narrative, and I think that it was hard fought, and it's always going to be uphill battles. But I can definitely say when you look around the country and other cities that have these kind of issues, Ferguson has fought very hard to get it right. So and that's something that I think is really good to represent for what is St. Louis. So.
That's my questions, but I would like to invite you on behalf of the Salvation Army, if you're in town next time, to see the Ferguson Community Empowerment Center. I'm sure they'd love to have you, but just wanted to extend that invite.
All right, no, thank you so much. Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
Thank you, Cedric, so much. You're
all right, man.